It is 5 a.m. Now, why am I up at 5 a.m. you're wondering? I have a very special video planned later on, but we'll get into that later and of course in that video. We're here to continue the Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic UFC 309 fight card. Let's get right into it, but before we do, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share and follow, hit the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload. Don't forget, this Saturday 10:50 p.m. we'll be live on this channel, but also a little surprise announcement. We will be live for Jake Paul versus Iron Mike Tyson this Friday. I think it starts at 1 a.m. I will have to check on those times for you, but we will be live on this channel for that fight card, so join in. It's going to be a spectacular one, which is why I'm up so late, because of that video. It's a very big one in my opinion. Of course, I'm going to say that. That's how I feel about it, but we're up. We're ready for it. I'm now going to go off and do this video, so let's get right into it. I'm so tired. This is one of my favourite fights on the card because of Paul Craig. Paul Craig has been fed to some monsters in the UFC, but I have met this man in person and he is as cool as you could think he is. But we have Paul Craig versus Bo Nickal. Paul Craig is 17-8-1. His country is Scotland. His height is 6'3" tall. He weighed at 198 pounds 16 in his last weigh-in. Has a reach of 76 inches and a leg reach of 43 inches. While Bo Nickal, on the other hand, is 6-0, undefeated. His country is United States. He stands at 6'1" tall. He weighed at 198 pounds on the dot in his last win. Has a reach of 76 inches and a leg reach of 42 inches. Bo Nickal, undefeated. Paul Craig on an 8-loss. Losing streak, but it's not a streak, I don't think. I know he's lost quite a few. Paul Craig's been knocked out a bunch. Paul Craig has a 2-inch height advantage. They both have the exact same reach, but Paul Craig has a 1-inch leg reach. It's fairly close, except Bo Nickal has got the undefeated record. I'm so excited for this fight. Incredibly excited for this fight. But let's move on to win buys to see how they've got it done in their previous fights. Bo Nickal, the undefeated man, has a 33% KO TKO, 67% submission, 0% decision. He has a complete finish rate, a 100% finish rate. He has an average fight time sitting around 2 minutes and a knockdown average of 1, while Paul Craig, on the other hand, has a KO TKO percentage of 24%, 76% submissions and a 0% decision. All of Paul Craig's wins are also coming by a stoppage, but his average fight time sits at 8 minutes and a knockdown average of 0. That is, I thought Paul Craig won by decision a few times. I'm very clearly a novice, completely. But no, both of them, most of their wins are coming by submissions. They both have the KOs and TKOs, but it's who would benefit is my question, but we'll move on to that in a minute. Paul Craig has a bigger record than Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal has a smaller record. Paul Craig has a lot more submissions than Bo Nickal then. And I don't know about the KOs and TKOs. I wish that they'd say how many they had in each aspect, because I'm going to be real, you guys. I failed maths. I suck at maths. I don't know. If anyone understands percentages, obviously you can just Google search it and just find it easily. But come on. Anyone who knows maths, tell me the actual numbers. But let's move on to significant strikes to see how they performed on the feet in their previous fights. I do believe Paul Craig was knocked out in his last fight. I can't remember Bo Nickal's. I've seen a bunch. Why do I feel like I've seen all of Bo Nickal's, but he hasn't been in the UFC for all 6 fights. Paul Craig has landed an average of 2 punches, 46% significant strikes, an average of 3 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 44%. While Bo Nickal, on the other hand, had an average of 2 punches landed per minute, 62% significant strikes, an average of 1 punch absorbed per minute, and a defense of 70%. Bo Nickal had the better defense, absorbed a lot less. His significant strike percentage was a lot better, but his landed per minute was a little bit worse. I'm gonna be real. I think Bo Nickal, if either of these two should keep it on the feet, it should be Bo. Paul Craig, I don't know how Bo Nickal's chin will compare to Paul Craig, but I know Paul Craig doesn't have the most iron chin out there. He has been put out a few times. God damn it. Look at the defense. The defense for Bo Nickal, a lot better. He absorbed a lot less. Therefore, I'm assuming his opponent was a heavy grappling guy. Either Bo Nickal's defense was incredible and spectacular, or Bo Nickal's opponent just didn't want to punch him and just wanted to take him down, go for some wrestling, go for some grappling, and try and win by that way. But Bo Nickal had a higher percentage of significant strikes compared to Paul Craig with just a smaller amount, quite a bit smaller amount of punches. So I think that Paul Craig should try and go get it in the grappling, and Bo Nickal should probably try and keep it on the feet a little bit and then mix it up a bit, because they both have the experience in both aspects. But I feel like Bo Nickal, I feel like they're feeding Paul Craig to another monster. Again, the UFC do not like Paul Craig, I swear. But let's move on to the grappling to see if it does go into any form of grappling, who can get it done based off their stats in their previous fights. Holy shit. Bo Nickal. We're going to start with Paul Craig. Paul Craig has a takedown average of 2, 20% takedown accuracy, a takedown defense of 37%, and a submission average of 2. While Bo Nickal, on the other hand, had an average of 7 takedowns, 50% takedown accuracy, a 0% takedown defense, and a 7 submission average. Just looking at that stat alone, Bo Nickal is terrifying. He has less punches, a higher significant strike percentage. He has a lot more takedowns with a higher takedown accuracy. He has a 0% takedown defense. I don't know if his opponent just didn't want to take him down, or Bo Nickal had a poor takedown defense, or maybe Bo Nickal got taken down so he could change the positioning and work for himself. But his submission average is a lot scary. So based off of just the grappling, I think Bo Nickal will probably dominate the ground. I think he would dominate the ground compared to Paul Craig. But based off of all the stats put together, it looks like Bo Nickal could just dominate this whole fight. It looks like, from the stats, Bo Nickal will just dominate the whole fight. Although he had the less output, his defense was better. His significant strikes percentage was better. He absorbed a lot less. His takedown average was a lot better. His takedown accuracy was a lot better. His submission average was a lot better. The only thing that was worse, but Paul Craig isn't much better, was his takedown defense. I think this is a tough fight for Paul Craig. A very, very tough fight for Paul Craig. Do I think it will be easy for Bo Nickal? No. Do I think it will be a very fun and entertaining fight? I hope so. I like both of these guys. I hope Paul Craig wins, but I have to give it to Bo Nickal. He is deadly based off of these stats. But that is just my thoughts and my opinion. What do you guys think? Who do you think wins and how do you think they win? Apart from that, I will catch you in a bit. Take care and peace.